going to do a quick fun game, I think, to wrap up. A combined Liverpool and Manchester City 11 for the weekend. Now, a couple of rules to state before we get going. We're going to go for a 4-2-3-1 formation because I think Liverpool have been playing really a 4-3-3.
Oh, hang on, you can't tell us that. I've got it all written down.
I've gone 3-4-3, Lewis. So you didn't tell us the rules here.
That was
the rules.
Oh no! I'm sorry. Well, we might have to do some slight adaptations as we go.
Right.
Roughly,
Kevin De Bruyne at left back.
That's fine then. Yeah, exactly that. I think roughly because of how different both squads have been playing, the plan was going to be 4-2-3-1. Generally, I know City have been playing that really strange 3-2. 4-1-esque formation. But I think, of course, before the time at recording, we're talking about team news. The players selected that I've gone for that we're going to be talking about are going to be those that have featured the most this season for each club, because I think otherwise it gets too complicated with injuries and all the rest of it. The only player I will say we're picking 10 players because, like Wayne joked about the other week, Liverpool have 27 number 8s but no number 6. So I think Rodri picks himself. That isn't up for debate. Although Paul's the fake. Paul, what's happening?
I don't know. Somebody just walked in the house.
Oh, okay.
As long as it's not Rodri.
It's all right. It's safe. Tell me the wife. It's safe.
Rodri's there to pick himself. So if we start with, I mean, Paul, we've got to go to you first. In goal, between the sticks, are we going Ederson or Alisson?
Really tough call. You've got two of the best in the league. The goalkeeper's position and the role has changed. The definition of what's required. One of these two for me does both. The remit for a goalkeeper is keep the ball out the net, dominate your box, make saves, catch crosses, and be a goalkeeper first of all. And then if you're able to do the rest, that's the modern day goalkeeper, and that's Alisson for me. He's the best at it. I think he's the all round best goalkeeper, but I think he can do the other bits as well. So Alisson.
Okay, Wayne, what are your thoughts?
I won't go as far as to say Ederson can't lace Alisson's boots, but Alisson 100% for me. He is the better goalkeeper. He's the best in the Premier League, if not the world. He can do everything. One-on-ones, he wins more than he loses. Strikers are terrified of going one-on-one against him because he always wins. He's in.
Yeah, I'm putting on my neutral cap for this, by the way. I'm going to put in the fellow Premier League goalkeeper who scored as well. I'm going Alisson. I think that wraps that up perfectly. If we're looking at right back, this is quite difficult because it depends on how you view how this team is going to play. Walker or Trent? Paul, where do you sit with that?
There's only one, Kyle Walker. I mean, Trent's defensively, we know his susceptibility defensively, and I think he's improved hugely in the last 12 months, and he's improved because he's been playing higher up the field. He's been playing in that hybrid role. He's been causing problems going forward with his assists, with his quality in the final thirds that we know he's got. Defensively, I mean, his susceptibility is still there. Kyle Walker, for me, gets the nod.
Okay, I'm not going for either of them because even though Lewis has shoehorned me into a formation I don't want, I'm going to go for John Stones at right back, and then when Lewis's back is turned, I'm going to push him forward into a hybrid role in midfield. He's in my starting 11 above Trent and Walker.
Okay, so there we go. So we're going to have to call Wayne Guardiola because he's going for the hybrid formation as it's known. Well, one thing that won't be argued generally is centre backs. Now, looking at right centre back, I think this really might not be a debate. Wayne, I'll start with you. Would you go for Diaz or Matip?
I'm going for. What about Canate, Lewis?
Going off minutes,
he doesn't even get a look in anymore.
Off minutes, Wayne. It was John.
Okay. So yeah, I mean Diaz for me above Matip and Canate and Joe Gomez. He's super smooth centre back. Makes very few mistakes. He was rattled a bit against Chelsea, I thought, a couple of weeks ago, but very rarely gets rattled. Very well protected, obviously, by Rodri and co in front of him. But he's super solid and he's brilliant on the ball. So yeah, he's in for me.
And Paul, who would you go for, Diaz or Matip to start that right centre back position?
I agree with all the above. Diaz and Matip is not even a conversation. How many years now have we talked about Liverpool's back four, and it's Virgil van Dijk and who? And they haven't got that and who. If they had Diaz, they'd have a decent back four. Diaz. And then I think you know where I'm going with the next one. Diaz and Van Dijk.
There you go. I didn't even get to answer. Wayne, is that the conclusion? Akanji doesn't even come into the question?
Akanji, Guardiola or Nathan Ake. Yeah, no, Van Dijk's number one. He's improved this season, I think, compared to last season. I was a bit worried his legs had gone. Certainly earlier in the season and second half of last season, I thought that was his worst time as a Liverpool player. But he's been really back to his Rolls-Royce best the last 2 months. So he's in, definitely.
I think one of the harder positions now, this is something that I had to spend some time really dwelling over, was at left back with Guardiola or Robertson. Actually quite tight, I'd say. Paul, who would you go for in that, again, if you want to call it a hybrid role, attacking, however you want to refer to it?
Can't believe you had to debate over that with your red and white hat on. That's probably one of the easiest ones for me. Guardiola is an outstanding young talent, and I think I prefer him playing at centre half. He hasn't had his opportunity to play there yet. He's a very good left back. But the impact that Robertson has for Liverpool, you see when he's missing, and Tsimikas plays there, it's not the same. The assist that he has, his power going forward, his defensive capabilities, his leadership qualities. I mean, I'm amazed that you even had to think that Robertson, hands down.
Oh, look, neutral caps on currently as it stands. I can't have any affiliation. Wayne, who would you go for at that position?
I'm going to disagree with Paul. I'm going to go for Guardiola ahead of Robertson. I agree that Robson is a more orthodox left back, but I think Guardiola's a superior player. I think he'll be a superior player in the future. I think he's going to be absolutely incredible at Man City when he gets completely accustomed to how Guardiola wants to use him. He's going to be a true superstar. And Robertson, mighty fine player as he is. He is also technically one of the weaker players in the Liverpool team, I would say, and almost limited in that regard. So Guardiola has no limitations. He gets in for me.
Okay, because Wayne threw in the curveball of John Stones at right back, we'll stick Walker at right back and we'll go for Robbo at left back. There we go.
Oh,
that's
my goodness. Have I got any of my picks yet?
Yeah.
Van Dijk. Yeah, Andy.
Yeah, Van Dijk. Yeah, you both agree with Van Dijk.
I'm the goalkeeper.
Okay. All right,
yeah, I'm the goalkeeper. Right, Rodri, we don't need to debate that. That's as simple as that.
Okay.
The next central midfielder, I think, again, this is difficult, Paul. This is certainly one that we could argue about, is Szoboszlai versus Kovacic. Where's the general feeling on that? Who would you rather start in that box-to-box role?
I think Szoboszlai for me. I think he's been an outstanding signing. I think Liverpool, they had problems in the midfield at the start of this season. You looked where the recruitment would be. They obviously lost James Milner and Henderson, which had a big impact on their squad. They needed replacing. They were moving on. And it was, where do they go? What do they spend? And I think Szoboszlai's come in there, for want of a better phrase, he's hit the ground running. And I think he's getting better week on, week off. Kovacic, looks a completely different player to the one he did at Chelsea. He looks the international level that you would expect. But I think Szoboszlai's had that big an impact this year, watching Liverpool week in, as you do. I would suspect you might agree that he's probably had nearly as big an impact as James Maddison has.
Yeah, I do. I think he's been
bigger impact. Szoboszlai for me, above Kovacic. Signing of the season, signing of the decade, signing of the century for Liverpool. Best midfielder at Liverpool since Gerrard. Brilliant on the ball. I think Liverpool fans have barely seen how good this player will eventually become. He's already shown he can play different positions. He's played out wide, wide right. He's played further up the pitch, played just in front of the defence when they had 9 players against Tottenham. He's incredible. He's got everything. He will score loads of goals for Liverpool, and he will be the most influential player in the team very, very soon, in my opinion. He's brilliant.
That's a huge call. I mean, I think my general opinion is he's absolutely going to be a top player, but I think unfortunately at the moment for Liverpool with him, because they don't have that 6, McAllister, Szoboszlai, they're having to fill in this role where actually they're not suited to play. He should be driving forwards. He should have the ball pushing up. And actually you see him quite often sitting quite deep because Liverpool don't have that midfielder to sit in and do the role that Rodri's doing. So I think they
should have spent the money for Lavia. I mean, Casado didn't want to go, but should have spent it for Lavia because they spent months negotiating that anyway. That's another story. But yeah, I mean, 27 number 8's Lewis. That's
I think it's absolutely spot on. If we talk about left wing, now this is one absolutely that's going to be difficult. Phil Foden or Luis Diaz?
Oh, neither.
Neither.
No. Right. Okay. There's really good reason for this because I've got Nunes for left wing because only one person can be sent forward. And that is no mystery. So Nunes has to be in this team, Lewis. Right, here's my reasons. He is, the most unpredictable player in the Premier League, most unpredictable forward. City will be worried about him on Saturday, even jet lagged, and who knows, might not even be in the starting 11 if he comes back slightly exhausted. But he causes chaos and defenders are terrified of him. Yes, you would not put your mortgage on him finishing from 6 yards with no goalkeeper in front of him or any defenders, but he is one hell of a handful. He has to be in the starting 11. That's my passionate proposal. Anyway,
there we go. That's the one big call that you've made. Absolutely. Okay, Paul, what do you reckon? Would you back Núñez as well, or we're going to have a bit of a discussion about this then?
I'm going against both of you. I've got any of your three in my team. I've got Bernardo Silva there. You can't leave out the little magician. I mean, how good he is with his ball rotation, and you're going to need a bit of creativity in the final third, somebody to unlock the door with all the firepower you've got. Bernardo Silva.
God, this doesn't make my job easy, does it? That's really not fair. I think, well, this gets really hard. You know what we'll do? We'll hold fire on left wing, and we'll come back. If we come to the right wing, Paul, because my proposition at right wing was going to be Mo Salah or Bernardo Silva, although there might not be much of a debate. But what's the general opinion?
Yeah, it's Mo Salah. I've got Bernardo Silva one side and Mo Salah the other side.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to hear both of you come up with an argument against those two.
No argument against Salah. He's still Liverpool's best player, and he will be the one they look to take City apart. Last season, his performance at Anfield against Man City was absolutely sensational, and he showed Erling Haaland what a world superstar looks like. So he has to be in the team.
Yeah, and number 10, and again, this is slightly controversial because, of course, he hasn't been playing there this season, but for what we've seen the heights at Brighton, would you go McAllister or Alvarez playing in that central attacking position?
Mate, I'm putting Kevin De Bruyne there on crutches.
Oh, no! I was waiting for that. Oh, no!
I've got Bernardo Silva there because Lewis didn't explain these rules. Okay, but yeah, I would go De Bruyne if he was fit, obviously, but but I'd Bernardo Silva there. Definitely not McAllister. I don't think he's been particularly good for Liverpool this season, and I think if Klopp hadn't have found a way into the team for him with this number 6 role, I think he'd be struggling to get in that starting 11. To be honest,
I think he's been found defensively, hasn't he, McAllister? I think players are running off him going forward. I don't think he's in question, but I think defensively, I think there's a few questions over him.
He's not quite mobile enough, is he? He's not quite quick enough, and his skills aren't suited to that position. I mean, on the ball, I don't think he's been that great. To be honest, I think his distribution's been wonky, and he's lost a lot of ball retention. A lot of moves have fallen apart at his feet. But I'm sure we'll get better.
So I'll put Kevin De Bruyne with an asterisk for when he's then fit instead of being on crutches, although Paul did suggest. Now that, of course, as I think we've all agreed, again, that doesn't need to be a debate. Erling Haaland's going up front. That's not even a question. It's that left wing position that I don't like. That's a really...
Sean Goater up front.
How many Liverpool players have we got in this team?
Currently, we've got Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, Robertson, Szoboszlai, and Mo Salah. So as it stands, that's 5. We've got 5 City currently and 5 Liverpool. And we've got to work out that left wing position. Okay. Now, Paul, my only proposition to you about Bernardo Silva at left wing is naturally as a left-footed player, he doesn't always play on the left because he's not as comfortable as running down the byline and swinging it in the box. He's more comfortable cutting in from the right. That's my only reservation. Whereas Mr. Dangerous Darwin Núñez seems to be, he likes that left wing. But again, I don't need to have the final say. General opinion, would you rather have Núñez starting in a Champions League final on the wing, or would you rather someone more technical and gifted in terms of a more, I think, lower central of gravity, Bernardo Silva?
Let me flip your argument. Would you play Haaland left wing?
No.
There you go. He's a number 9. Núñez is a number 9, isn't he?
There's the answer. Although, then we'd be throwing a coach.
Paul, you can play anywhere. That's it.
Or you can actually have a proper chat with him and play whatever formation you want, and you can play both of them, him and Haaland up front together.
Can you have a proper chat with Darwin Núñez? I would like to know the answer to that question. Marcelo Bielsa and Jurgen Klopp would probably give a very interesting private answer to that, wouldn't they?
Okay, what about this? This is okay. Now I've got a whole different proposition in here because one player we haven't mentioned at all that I think I hate saying that on his day talk, but Jeremy Doku this season when he turns it on, surely he would go into that left wing spot. If we're talking about players at the peak of their form, he's got to be in that. He's got to be in that left wing spot. Maybe
he's not getting ahead of Bernardo Silva for me. He's the first one off the bench. He has such an impact. His pace, his direct. He's so good off the bench. And I think there's a little bit of probably the impact that he would have coming from the bench is to his detriment at times. For me, Bernardo Silva would start, and I'd put Doku on the bench. But he is going to be one hell of a player, Doku.
Okay, so actually, okay, with Paul's passion for Bernardo Silva, definitely wants the midfield maestro in there. We'll stick Silva in there. So our team, as selected, our starting 11. The last question, though, who's in charge, Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola?
If it's Anfield, it's Klopp. If it's Etihad,
okay, Paul, what do you reckon?
Jurgen Klopp.
Okay, we'll go with Klopp then. There's the answer. So to summarise that team, then we've got Alisson in goal, defensive Walker, Diaz, Virgil van Dijk at Robertson. The two midfielders, we've got Szoboszlai and Rodri. And then going forwards, Mo Salah on the right, Bernardo Silva on the left, Kevin De Bruyne is sitting just behind the main man, number 9, Erling Haaland. That is a great team. You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.